Okay, before we go any further with installing apps and extensions, I'd like to take a very brief look at the environment. Now, notice I have a bunch of icons to the right of my search bar in Google Chrome, and these are different apps that are installed. Now, you have several options from here with most of these apps. I can right-click on one of them and say Hide in Chrome Menu. Now, I no longer see it there, so I don't have quite as quick access to it. But if I click the three little buttons to the right, you'll notice it appears on the top. So, if I did that to several of them, I would just be accessing them from in here instead. Okay, secondly, if I come to that same settings icon and come down to settings, you'll notice up here there's a sign in, and this sign in is to Google Chrome browser. Okay, so I'm not just signed into the website. When you just go to the website and sign in, that's great. But this is actually signing into the browser. And the difference is that this will allow my apps, extensions, preferences, history, a lot of other things to follow me from machine to machine. So you certainly have to be careful with this. Now, you're not limited to one account. Right now, I'm using this as an example and I'm signed into this account. But I could disconnect it. If I did disconnect it, my bookmarks, my history, nothing changes on this machine, but they're not synced going forward. If I were to do that, I could then sign into an alternate account. And I'll be given the option to create a new user or to sign in anyway. So it's telling me that I've previously signed in under another name. And signing in will merge the information from both. But in this case, I want to create a new user because my intent here is to keep one account completely separate from another. And that's okay. I can go back and forth between the two. And let me cancel that. I can go back and forth between the two, but if I sign in anyway, if I use that other option, it's going to defeat the purpose. It's going to merge all that information into one. Okay, so I'll take a second here. I'll sign back into the sample account to show you some options you have here. Okay, that's done. So, in addition to disconnecting or connecting to another Google account, I can go to Advanced Sync Settings, and you see in this sample, right now, everything is checked. And I would be pretty leery about leaving it this way. Let's look at what the options are. I can have my apps checked, and what that means is that if I have this checked and I've installed apps here on my home computer, and I go to work, I log in, not only to Google, but I log into the browser itself here, after a few minutes all that will become available to me, which can be a really nice option. And that applies to apps, extensions, settings. So maybe my set of, I tend to have a set of home page tabs that when I go home, it opens up all these tabs that I do each morning, actually, things I need to do each morning. Autofill, so if it's saving things that you've typed in boxes on the internet. Your history, you want to think long and hard if you want your history to follow you around. Themes, if you've installed any themes, different look to Chrome. Your bookmarks, this is one I love to have follow me around, because I can get them from wherever I am, and I'm very dependent on my bookmarks. As you can see, I've got a structure up here, and this structure includes submenus and submenus. So I like to have this available to me. Passwords. You may or may not choose to have this checked. It's more work to have to log in each time, but it's also more secure. Open tabs. So if I've left a series of tabs, I was working on a project on my home computer, and then I log in at work, it'll open up the same set of tabs for me. And there's one I'm just going to recommend that you don't check no matter what, is to keep the credit card and address information if you do use Google Payments, to keep that to your home machine at best. Okay, there are options below to encrypt sync passwords or all data. So if you want to be really secure, then all data is going to be encrypted, and you're going to have to give that a passphrase and a confirmation so that you could get back at it if you needed to. Or if you feel that your passwords are enough, you can leave it with the default setting. You simply say OK. And now all these things, including your settings, including your preferences for how to use Chrome, should follow you from machine to machine if you come in and sign into the browser on the other machine. And it may take a minute or two for your bookmarks to appear and your apps to become available, but they will.